We will be having further updates regarding the Quigley versus CHP case and let you know more details as we are informed. So stay tuned.
All right, folks out there, here's a little gun history lesson for those of us that are not familiar with it. In 1929, the Soviet Union established gun control. From 1929 to 1953, about 20 million dissidents unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. In 1911, Turkey established gun control. From 1915 to 1917, 1.5 million Armenians unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Germany established gun control in 1938, and from 1939 to 1945, a total of 13 million Jews and others who were unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. China established gun control in 1935. From 1948 to 1952, 20 million political dissidents unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Guatemala established gun control in 1964. From 1964 to 1981, 100,000 Mayan Indians unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Uganda established gun control in 1970. From 1971 to 1975, 300,000 Christians unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Cambodia established gun control in 1956, and from 1975 to 1977, 1 million educated people unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Defenseless people rounded up and exterminated in the 20th century because of gun control, 56 million. It has now been 12 months since gun owners in Australia were forced by new law to surrender 640,381 personal firearms to be destroyed by their own government, a program costing Australia taxpayers more than $500 million. The first-year results are now in. Australia-wide, homicides are up 3.2% and assaults are up 8.6%. Armed robberies are up 44%. Yes, 44%. In the state of Victoria alone, homicides with firearms are now up 300%. Note that while the law-abiding citizens turned them in, the criminals did not, and criminals still possess their guns. It will never happen here.
Oh yeah, I bet the Aussies said that too.
While figures over the previous 25 years showed a steady decrease in armed robbery with firearms, this has changed drastically upward in the past 12 months, since criminals now are guaranteed that their prey is unarmed. There has also been a dramatic increase in break-ins and assaults of the elderly. Australian politicians are at a loss to explain how public safety has decreased after such monumental effort and expense was expended in successfully ridding Australian society of guns. The Australian experience and the other historical facts above prove it. You won't see this data in the U.S. evening news or hear politicians
disseminating
this information. Guns in the hands of honest citizens save lives and property, and yes, gun control laws adversely affect only the law-abiding citizens. Take note, my fellow Americans, before it's too late. The next time someone talks in favor of gun control, please remind of this history lessons. With guns, we are citizens. Without them, we are subjects. During World War II, the Japanese decided not to invade America because they knew most Americans were armed. Note, Admiral Yamamoto, who crafted the attack on Pearl Harbor, had attended Harvard U 1919 to 1921 and was naval
attaché
to the U.S. 1925 to 1928. Most of our Navy was destroyed at Pearl Harbor, and our Army had been deprived of funding and was ill-prepared to defend the country. It was reported that when asked why Japan did not follow up on Pearl Harbor attack with an invasion of the U.S. mainland, his reply was that he had lived in the U.S. and knew that almost all households had guns. If you value your freedom, please spread this anti-gun control message to all of your friends.
Don't let people take away your guns.
And I probably need to add this in. I can't help it. It says, and dear Senator, Obama has a problem with those who would cling to their guns and their religion. Folks, you better wake up and realize what's happening.
It's a matter of choice, folks. Educate yourself. Be aware of what's going on. Be careful with how you use your vote.